Crumbing or breading might seem like a tricky, time-consuming exercise, but in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it actually is. Maybe you've never tried crumbing food before, or maybe you don't know where to start. Hopefully all your questions will be answered in this video. Today we'll crumb some chicken, and then I'll show you 3 different dinner ideas to help get you started. The first thing we need is something to crumb. So here I have a couple of fresh chicken breasts which I'll turn into schnitzel. You can really crumb anything though. You could use other meats or even vegetables like eggplant or aubergine for a vegetarian alternative. By the way, I'm keen to find out what your favourite crumbed food is. Let me know in the comments down below. When cooking a schnitzel, you need the meat to be fairly thin so it cooks through. So I'm going to split each of these breasts into 3 pieces. A lot of people will pound these to thin them down even more, but I find this is often unnecessary. As you can see, this is roughly half a centimetre thick, so it'll only take about 5 or 6 minutes to fully cook through. The next thing we need to do is prepare our crumbing station. It's very easy to make breadcrumbs using the crusts that always seem to be left in the bread bag. I keep a bag of these crusts in my freezer, and when it starts getting full, I blitz them up, rebag the crumbs and pop it back in the freezer. It's so handy to have breadcrumbs ready to go whenever you need some. The next thing we need is an egg wash or something similar to help the crumbs stick. The easiest and most common way to make one is to add a little dollop of milk or water to an egg to thin it a little, and then whisk it well. There are lots of equally good alternatives if you don't have eggs or can't eat eggs. I'll leave a list in the description below. The last thing we need is some flour. It's a great idea to season your flour. You know, salt brings out the flavour. This is also a good time to add spices like paprika or dried herbs to add some extra flavours if that's what you're after. Our little crumbing station is ready. We have the seasoned flour which dries the chicken and gives the egg something to stick to. Don't skip this step. Without it, the crumb would just slide right off. Then we have the egg which gives the crumb something to stick to. And lastly we have the crumbs, the super delicious part that gives the crunch. The tidiest way of doing this is to have a hand for the wet bits and a hand for the dry bits. Here's how it works. Pick up the wet chicken with your wet hand and put it into the flour bowl. Flick on some flour with your dry hand, making sure it's completely coated. Pick it up with your dry hand and put it into the egg bowl. Then use your wet hand to make sure it's completely coated in egg. Pick it up with your wet hand and allow the excess egg to drip off. Then put it into the breadcrumb bowl. Use your dry hand to pat on the breadcrumbs, making sure it's completely covered. It's easier said than done, isn't it? But keep this thought in mind and soon you'll be crumbing like a professional. Alternatively, get your family involved and have one person looking after each bowl. I'll show you what happens when you use both hands for both wet and dry ingredients. You end up with massive crumbed fingers. Now that we have all our chicken beautifully crumbed, I'm going to show you 3 different dinner ideas you can make with it. So I'll put aside 3 pieces of chicken to pan fry, and the other 3 will oven bake with toppings. If you have time, it's best to put these into the fridge for about half an hour to allow the crumb coat to stick and set a little. But if you don't have time, it's fine to skip this step. So for our oven baked schnitzels today, I have some thinly sliced salami, tomato relish, feta cheese and grated cheese. I'm going to spread on some of the tomato relish, but you could use a pesto or tomato sauce here. Be careful when spreading this on that you don't lift off the crumb coat by being too heavy-handed. This is a pizza variation of the traditional chicken parmigiana, which is breaded chicken breast, covered in tomato sauce, with mozzarella or parmesan cheese, and then grilled. When you're thinking of your toppings, anything you'd put on a pizza would probably be delicious. I love the little pop of colour the feta adds here, and I'm sure the flavour will be delicious too. I'm going to put these into the fridge to set for a little bit, and then we can bake them. While they're in the fridge, let's fry the others. When pan frying schnitzels, I like to add a fair bit of oil. You can add a whole lot more than I have, but then you're almost deep frying it. Make sure the oil is nice and hot before you add the schnitzel. You should hear an instant hiss when the crumb touches the pan. Then turn down the heat a little so that you don't burn the crumb. These should only take about 5 or 6 minutes to cook through and become nice and golden. Here they are. Don't they look delicious? Something that can easily elevate any meal is to add a sauce or accompaniment to a dish. It can add texture, it can add flavour, and it can add colour. Let's make a little garlic sauce to go with our schnitzel. I'm just heating up a little oil. Then I'll add some finely crushed garlic and let it simmer away for a few minutes. It'll become beautifully fragrant and brown up a little. Then we can add it to some natural yogurt or sour cream. This is sour cream that I've thinned down a little with a dollop of milk. Look at these crunchy little garlic bits. They're full of flavour. Then add some chopped parsley and a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. How easy was that? And honestly, it'll add that little bit extra to this meal and take it up a notch. For our first schnitzel dinner idea, I have some oven roasted vegetables, little tri-coloured potatoes, carrots and red onion. Over here I've got a green salad with a lemon and garlic dressing. Here's our fried schnitzel, our garlic sauce, and some chopped parsley to garnish. I'm going to put some of the veggies on a black plate here in a nice little pile. Then we can add 2 pieces of schnitzel. Overlapping it creates a bit of height and depth for the dish. And then we can add a little mound of green salad here in the gap. It's often tempting to push it flat, but don't. Leave it in a mound, it looks so much better. Lastly, we can add a generous blob of the garlic sauce and finish it with a sprinkle of parsley. Yum! Is it dinner time yet? I love this simple yet colourful dinner. Our family also enjoys crumbed chicken burgers, so for this idea I have a toasted sesame burger bun and a piece of crumbed chicken. Over here's our green salad, a homemade aioli, and this is a beetroot relish. It's absolutely delicious with chicken. If you want to see how to make it, check out this video. I always have some in our fridge. When making a burger, you just can't have a dry bun. I'm adding aioli, but butter or mayo would work well too. This layer is vital. It can make the difference between an average burger and a great burger. Then we can add our salad, or you could use coleslaw or lettuce leaves. Then the crunchy chicken schnitzel goes on top with the delicious beetroot relish. This is such a simple idea, but it definitely isn't simple in flavours. For our last dinner idea, we've got our pizza-topped schnitzel to grill for approximately 15 to 20 minutes in a hot oven. Here it is. Doesn't it look tasty? Over here's our green salad and some oven fries. Let's salt them, ready to go. To plate this one, I'm going to make a pile of fries on the side of this rectangle plate. Then I'll lean a piece of schnitzel up against them and then add the salad here in the gap. To finish it off, I have some chopped parsley to sprinkle on. There's nothing tricky about this dinner. It's just delicious and it's fairly quick to put together, so it's convenient for a midweek meal. If you're looking for some more great midweek dinner ideas, why not check out this video on making a Korean-inspired beef bowl with garlic rice and vegetables. It's regularly on the menu in our house, not only because it's delicious, but because it can be ready in 30 minutes. See you over there.